Okay, Yellow 6 students, today we're going to work on 1.7, creating a narrative memory map. And up until this point, you've been learning about what it takes to, all the elements that you need to write a personal narrative. So, you've gone through many lessons: connotation, denotation, point of view, sensory language, simile, metaphor, um, dialogue, and we even looked at a few narratives, and you took a look at all of the elements that would go into writing a personal narrative. So here in this lesson, you're going to be creating a narrative memory map. Now think of it like a T-chart. It's kind of like a graphic organizer to help you organize what you want to write in your personal narrative. Okay, so it says brainstorm and list some of the incidents in your life that have resulted in some kind of change in your life. So in these 3 lines right here, think about 3 different incidents that you might possibly want to write about. Okay, so just remember that an incident is not like a wake up to go to bed story of your day and what you learned in that day. This is a moment in time. Okay, so let me show you a picture, and you may not have a picture of your incident, but you have a picture in your mind of what happened. Okay, so for me, I have a picture of this is what I might want to write about in my personal narrative, and you can see this is like a moment in time. Okay, and I'll come back to this when I actually write it in the sample memory map that I'm going to show you. Okay, so think about 3 different things in 3 different incidents in your life that you learned something, you grew somehow, or you changed somehow. Okay, so it says using the prompts in the graphic organizer below, choose one memorable incident and complete the personal narrative graphic organizer on the next slide. So remember, these are the 4 things that you need to include in your personal narrative. And just as a review, sorry about the sun, guys. Okay, for the first box, setting. So you need to consider these things. What was the time and place? Who was there? We're talking about the characters. And what were you, the narrator, doing, thinking, and feeling? For box number 2, incident, you're going to jot down the central piece of action that is the focus of the narrative. What happened? Describe events in chronological order and include dialogue. And what were you and others doing? Number 3, you're going to take notes on the response that you had after going through that incident. So what were the immediate emotional and physical actions associated with the incident? What were you thinking and feeling? And last 4, a description that explores the significance of the incident. How did it end? What did you learn, discover, or realize? How did you change or grow from this incident? Okay, so keep in mind that when you complete slide 25, and remember, this is your memory map. This is a graphic organizer to plan out your personal narrative. Now, remember, you are not writing in paragraphs or complete sentences here in these boxes. This is kind of like your T-chart, like your step up to writing T-chart. You're just jotting down thoughts and ideas with these headings: setting, incident, response, and reflection. Okay, so I'm going to do a sample one for you here. So I'm going to choose, after jotting down, brainstorming 3 different incidents, I'm going to choose this incident right here. Okay, so I'm going to just jot it down, and then I'll explain it to you, what that picture is about and why it's my incident. So I'm going to say, rained out at Bellows. Okay, so the setting, you can tell we're not at home. This is actually Bellows Beach. So Bellows Beach, that's a group campsite. Bellows group campsite. Okay, and it was, I think, about 2 summers ago, or maybe 3. I would need to go back and check. Okay, so it'd be June 2018, and so I was there with camping with my family and other families from our church. Okay, so that's my setting, time and place. Incident, the central piece of action that took place. Okay, so I'm going to write getting rained on. I'm going to say the rain came down pretty hard. The rain wouldn't stop. Okay, so that was the incident. And I'm going to say, okay. And it kind of flooded. I think I need to include that. Our campsite began flooding. And you can kind of see that in the picture. And I don't think, this was just the beginning of the rain, guys. This wasn't even like, when it was at its worst, you couldn't even see their feet. And if you can imagine, you know, on this left side, you know, the ground was a little lower on this side. So people who had their tents on this side, water was going in their tent, not to mention all of their other belongings that they brought with them. Okay, so I'm going to go back. So that was the incident. Getting rained on, coming down pretty hard. It wouldn't stop. Our campsite began flooding. Okay, so you can imagine my response and everyone else's response. You know, we were pretty sad, disappointed, and we were feeling helpless. Because, you know, you can't just turn the water faucet off and turn the rain off. So, you know, we were feeling pretty down, worried, right? I was worried that all of our things would get soaked, and that's no fun. Okay, a physical response. So I just mentioned emotional responses, right? Sad, disappointed, helpless, feeling down and worried. Some of the physical responses, you know, I was getting tired from moving things out of the rain. And of course, a physical response was, even though we had those, you know, nice big tents, I was still getting soaked from, you know, trying my best to gather everything in. And okay, so that's physical and emotional response. Now, the reflection that I'm going to write about, the reflection is that you can't control Mother Nature. If it's going to rain, it's going to rain. Can't do anything about it. Okay? But what you can do is you can control how you deal with a situation that you're put in. So if you look at the picture, you know, one of these boys is my son, and it's this boy right here. And, you know, how he and his friends dealt with the situation. Well, they knew they couldn't do anything about it. So they grabbed their bodyboards and they started going out there and running and sliding. So what I learned from them is make the best of any situation, a good situation or bad situation, make the best of it. Okay? And you know what eventually happened was, you know, they started going out and then many more people started going out and just having fun. And you know what? Because they were having so much fun and we were having so much fun watching them have so much fun, that we didn't even notice that the rain stopped. That's how much fun it was on that night. Okay, and this is an example of how to do your memory map. Okay, thank you very much.